I'll start please with Mark from Premier League.
Hello Mikel, happy new season to you.
Thank you very much.
Lots of talk in football about transfers in the last few days. How satisfied have you been with Arsenal's summer on that front so far?
Well, in this first period of the transfer window, I think we've done a few things that we wanted to do, and they're going to help us to get the squad in a much better place. And yeah, there is still a window to go, so I'm sure that things will happen either way.
How many more players are you looking to bring in roughly, ideally for you?
I'm willing to work with the players that I have at the moment and get the best out of them, and we will see what we can do.
Looking at the season, what would represent a successful campaign for Arsenal in terms of league position in the Premier League?
Our goal is to get the best version consistently that's going to bring us closer to winning football matches. That's what I want from the team. And if we do that consistently in every single match, we're going to be in a good place. But that's something that we haven't done. Consistently give the best version. And that's something that we must control and we must do. And I think if we are able to do that, then the results will be the consequence to that.
So no particular position in the league in your mind, though?
On Friday, win against Brentford, and then we'll be in a strong position in the league. That's what we have to do. And the rest will come.
Looking at Brentford, some newly promoted sides are quite cautious, quite safe, but it doesn't sound like we can expect that from Brentford this season.
No, if you look historically and what they've done in the last few years, very clear direction. I think from top to bottom of the club, they know what they want to do. They execute it really well, and I think they will be a really tough opponent for every team in the Premier League.
What has most impressed you about their sort of style of play?
The clarity on what they do, and they've been doing it for a long time together, and you can see they have that fluency, that chemistry between them, and they believe that the plan that they put in place works for them, and I think that's a big strength for any team.
And just finally from me, Ivan Toney's a player that there's a lot of focus on. He certainly looks like he's well equipped to make the step up to the Premier League.
Well, yeah, he's shown his qualities, that's for sure. But every recruitment that they've done in the last few years in that position has been pretty successful. So it would be the player, but as well, I think it would be the system and how they work with the players.
Thanks, Mikel. Good luck tomorrow.
I just looked back at notes before your final game of the season last year, and you talked about having significant money to go through your next phase of rebuilding. 3 signings in. Significant is subjective, isn't it? Is that what you're expecting, and how busy then might you be in the next few days if it isn't?
Well, we identified what we wanted to do, how we could strengthen our team short, medium and long term, and what we needed to achieve that. And then we defined a profile of the player that can suit the model that we have at the moment at the club, that can sustain our financial position, and we made 3 movements in relation to that, and we decided some exits as well in relation to that.
So how many more might we see, and how big a priority, and how close are you to bringing in a goalkeeper?
I cannot tell you today. I have no answers to that.
What would make you happy at the start of the season then, in terms of more numbers in?
That the team puts in place what we've been working, and the spirit that they have, the energy that they've been training with, and in games that we do it more consistently, because we had some very good patches against both teams in the last 2 games against the Spurs and Chelsea, and how we compete in matches to get the wins after, which is the most relevant thing.
You also spoke during that interview that I looked at about Joe Willock, and you said he's done everything I wanted him to do on loan at Newcastle. We know he had a good end of season. You said he was very much part of your plans going forward. What is the situation with him?
The situation is that he's our player, and we hold some conversations, because this is not about only what we want to do, is the player's interest, the role that a player can fit within a squad, in a club, and what he's done is put him in a really strong position where he can choose a little bit with more options what his future could look like. And this is what we are trying to define right now.
So he's your player now. Do you expect him to be in September?
I don't know, in football, I'm not going to do that, because if not, again, you will come with the quote that you came at the end of last season, so I prefer not to answer to that.
One more note that I sort of starred in that interview was how much blame you took upon yourself for the maybe underperforming of some of your players. How have you gone about addressing that? It's your third season, isn't it? 2 8th-place finishes. Do you get the sense this is now your time to deliver?
It is always. I think the demands of this football club are so high, the expectations are so high, and whether they are to the level and the quality and the capability that we have is a different matter. But obviously, that's the only way that is right at this football club, and we have to go with that.
And just finally from me, a question on Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Some concern that he hasn't hit the heights of maybe pre-signing that new contract. Where is he, do you think, form-wise, mentally-wise, confidence-wise at the start of this new season?
Since he came back, he looked with the right mindset and trying to put last season, which was difficult for everybody, not just for him, for many different reasons, and go back to the level that he can achieve, because he knows, and we know, that with his level, obviously this team can achieve much better things.
Thank you.
Hi Ian, how are you?
I'm very well. I hope you had a good summer. In regards to the transfer window, has it been a bit underwhelming for you? You've been linked with names like James Maddison, Odegaard, Tammy Abraham. None of those are at the club right now. Some players that you've also been linked with, like Aaron Ramsdale, and others maybe who are linked with leaving, like Lacazette and Xhaka and Bellerin. Has it been a bit underwhelming this summer for you?
It's been really busy, and you just name a few names, but that tells you as well how much we had to do, the position that we started the window. And we are talking about the most difficult, probably, transfer market in this industry over the last years for sure, and we are trying to adapt. And the club, the owners, and myself, we all have the same interest, which is to make this team much stronger. And we know that we have still the things to do to get what we want.
Have you still got the time to do that, though? I mean, we're currently here on August the 12th. You know, time is ticking along.
It is, but things take time, and there are all the time different parties and different interests to get deals done. But for sure, we are trying to do what we have, and as important as that as well is to make sure that the squad is healthy and we have a stability within that squad, something that we certainly missed last year up till December. So that is as important as well.
You have spent £50 million on Ben White. Before you tell me how good he is, if you are to get more players in, do you need to sell? Because obviously not being in Europe this season and coming off the back of 18 months without fans inside the ground, I anticipate the money is a little bit tight at the Emirates.
It is for every club at the moment. We have ownership that they are willing to invest in the team, and they want to get the team better and with bigger aims. And we are trying to find that balance, because at the same time we need to be really careful, because we need a financial position that is sustainable and healthy for the club.
How good is Ben White? Are you excited about having him on board?
I am very excited. He's a player that we looked for a long time, that he fitted the profile exactly what we wanted, and he's settling really well.
There's two more from me. First of all, about Brentford. I think everybody was delighted to see them come up. They've breath of fresh air the last couple of years in the Championship. What have you made of Thomas Frank? Because he's gone about getting into coaching and management in a very different way to the way you did it.
There's always different ways. I think what he's done, it's remarkable. And I will share with you the opinion that they are a very exciting team. And the way they have come up after a few disappointments the last few seasons, the last day, and the way they have reacted tells a lot about them. And what Thomas has done there, it's fantastic.
Finally, I'm just interested in your views on a couple of clubs you know very well, Man City and Barcelona, and whether you think the transfers of Jack Grealish for £100 million and Lionel Messi to PSG, which basically gives them a front line that I think everybody would love, is good for football.
Well, it's certainly really good for the entertainment. And when you want to see these teams play with with the quality of those players, it's something probably unprecedented in the case of PSG, probably. This is what they are. They can afford it, and they will enjoy it for sure. And from here, we have to do the same.
Good luck this season, my friend.
Thank you.
Do you understand the concerns of supporters when some of your traditional rivals are buying players like Grealish and Sancho and things like that? And can you assure them that everyone at the club is trying their hardest to get more business done?
Absolutely. They need to be excited, and they need to see a team that is capable of competing with that team, because our history is related to that, and nobody can deny that. That's the aim, and that should be the objective.
Thomas Partey obviously was signed last summer, but not until deadline day, and it took him a little while to settle in. Is it frustrating you going into the new season with so much uncertainty over who might come in and who might leave as well?
It's how deals develop, and at the time something that is not possible to do on the 12th of August, it is possible to do it the last day. And whether you are happy bringing the player in or not, I think is more important. With Thomas, we managed to do it at the end, but the difficulty with him is for how long he's been injured and only being able to participate because the impact that he would have on the team. That's the disappointing thing.
Do you anticipate you might be busy up until that last minute again, just like you were last year?
Anything is possible, and there is still a lot of things to be done, and a lot of clubs involved, and you can see that the ball starts to roll in a different speed in the last week or so. And it's been a really difficult transfer window, and probably a lot of things would happen in the last week or so.
With what happened last year with Emi Martinez, the goalkeeper position continues to be one which I think intrigues a lot of people. Are the club struggling to sort a strong first and second choice combination? Is it something that's taken a lot of time and a lot of work?
Yeah. What happened with Emi again? It's different parties involved in that decision, and at some stage you have to make a decision based not on what we want as well, and the player's objectives and the history of a player that was here for 10 years and the role that he wants to have in the team. And then you try to do something, and maybe you are not able to do what you want to do. Sometimes it's financial, sometimes the player doesn't become available, and you have to adapt. I wish that all the time it was the way you plan it or want it.
If you had to pick one position where you think you need that signing before the deadline, would it be the goalkeeper position?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's try to do what we have to do, and it's not about the player or the position. It's about where the squad should be finished. That's what I would pick. Where the squad that we're gonna have at the end of this transfer window. That was what I would pick.
Just finally, in January you had a lot. You said it was probably the most unique transfer window for a football club in the terms of the players that left and the way they had to leave. Are there some players in the squad at the moment you could envisage that may go in a similar way to how we saw Skodran and Meza and Socrates leave?
I think everything is related to who do we bring in, who is out, our capacity to hold foreign players at the squad. There is a lot of question marks still to be resolved, so it's still pretty open.
Right, good luck tomorrow, Mikel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.